In this video, I'm going to do something that I've never done before on Hammers Chat. 10 years we'll be making videos now, and I've never done this until today. I'm going to show you my knickers. I'm going to show you my undies in a few minutes' time. But before we do that, I want to discuss the headline of the day, which is that West Ham are considering a move for Harvey Elliot. Oi, stop it. Some of you are wetting your knickers right now. Stop it. That's the headline. It's not my transfer rumour. In fact, it's from Ben Jacobs. And what I am going to say, as a journalist, I've been quite impressed by him recently. David Ornstein's still the god. He's still the governor when it comes to transfer news. He's nowhere near that. But he's slowly moving up the rankings for me. He was covering the Lopetegui-Potter thing, but he was covering it really accurately. He didn't jump the gun. Some journalists said, oh, that's it, Lopetegui's gone. And turned out he hadn't gone. Jacobs didn't really do that. I thought he was quite accurate with his reporting when he's been discussing transfer news and stories from other clubs through the summer so far. I feel like he's been quite accurate. Ben Jacobs is a journalist that I'm keeping an eye on. I've been quite impressed by his work, but he's the one reporting this. Now, as I always say, I don't necessarily believe this one. Well, I do. We're considering a move for Harvey Elliot. Who isn't? Everyone should be. I'd be more worried if we weren't. In fact, yeah, we probably aren't, aren't we? We're probably not even bothered. But longer term subscribers from a month or two ago and patrons will know Harvey Elliot, my number one target this summer. And that was before he scored 2 goals against Spain in Euros. I was on the Harvey Elliot bandwagon ages ago. Thank you very much. Just a fantastic talent. But let's deal with what we do know. Who wants to leave Liverpool? He's spoken about it towards the end of the season, at the end of the season, during the Euros. He's been speaking about it because when he's been getting interviewed ahead of games, naturally it goes on to his future at Anfield. And he's very open that he has to leave Liverpool in order to get more minutes. He wants to be playing regular football, something he can't get at Liverpool. And that's okay. Not being good enough for Liverpool, well, he is. He's good enough to be in the squad at Liverpool. They don't necessarily want to sell him. This isn't you're unwanted, please leave. That's not the situation here. He's part of the squad. And as a squad member, he said, well, I'm getting to the age now, I want to be playing week in, week out. That's not something he can get at Anfield. That's the bit he's not good enough. So he's good enough for Liverpool. He's good enough for the squad at Liverpool. He's just not good enough to knock Alexis McAllister and Mo Salah out of the team. There's no shame in that whatsoever. But he's certainly good enough to be playing week in, week out at West Ham and at the majority of the Premier League clubs. So we should be interested, just like Aston Villa should be, Newcastle should be. We should all be taking a look at him because someone this summer is getting a serious talent. And I appreciate this. The first thing is with it being West Ham is, well, we can't afford him. We've got no money. That's it. Now, the rumoured price tag's 40 million. I don't think he'll go for that. I think he might be 50 million or something. It might even go up a little bit more because of his 2 goals he's got against Spain, and he may score again against Germany on Saturday, where you will find my number one striker target playing. But on Saturday, watch that Germany-England game. Be a bloody good game. I've thoroughly enjoyed this tournament. I've discussed England before and Lee Carsley and how they play football. It's on my own YouTube channel. Yes, this is a shameless plug. I don't care. YouTube.com/TartanGeo. Did a video today about Brentford. Could they get relegated? But I've done a video about England under 21 specifically before the Spain game. But Harvey Elliott, love him as a footballer. I think he would walk into our starting 11, automatically becomes one of our best players. And the thing I've got about Harvey Elliott is I don't really know his best position. Is it outright? I'm not so sure. I don't see him as a traditional winger. He's a bit more sort of number 10-y for me. Could he become a box-to-box midfielder? He's played that role at Liverpool, but that role at Liverpool is different to other clubs because when you're there, you have a lot of the possession. Teams sit back against you. Being a sort of a number 8 in that role is a bit different to what it would be at, say, West Ham, where you may be doing a bit more of the defensive stuff. But we need to rebuild this midfield, and I am intrigued, and I do wonder if Graham Potter could be the right type of head coach to turn Elliot into a bit more of a number 8. But regardless of what his position is, I think he's a fantastic individual talent. I think he could go on to become an even better player. And I think this is a unique opportunity to bring in someone that you wouldn't get otherwise. I don't want to use the phrase too good for West Ham because people don't like it when I say that. People get upset when I say that. I kind of get it, but I kind of don't. But I do feel like we'd be punching above our weight a little bit trying to get Harvey Elliot. I think he's good enough to be in that Liverpool squad. In terms of the affordability, of course, we've got those concerns. But because he's such a good player, and it's a one-off opportunity, because he's going somewhere this summer, and someone's getting a bloody good player, and I'm going to watch him next season and probably be annoyed that he didn't rock up at West Ham. But loan him with an obligation to buy. Take away, options ideal. Liverpool ain't going to dabble with that. But if you go there and commit to buying him in 12 months' time and say the price tag's 50 million, yes, it gives you an issue in 12 months' time. But you've got a year to figure it out. But what you do get in the meantime is a top player, someone that can really make a huge difference. He can score goals. He can create goals. He's the vice-captain of that England team. He's been at Liverpool. There's not a lot to dislike. In fact, there's nothing for me to dislike. Homegrown. Get Harvey Elliot to the bowl, please. Anyway, I've got some other England under 21 players to discuss. I'm going to show you my pants, but don't worry, I'm not going to stand up and strip off or anything like that. They're loose and unused. They're unworn. They've just arrived today. Ta-da! Look at these bad boys. They've arrived. Some of you have pre-ordered our Bubbles Oddballs boxers. They will be getting sent out next Thursday. So they'll leave here on Thursday. So they'll be with you next Saturday. But there's still plenty left to buy. So if you fancy a pair of our Oddballs Bubbles boxers, head over to hammerschatstore.com and grab a pair. They're not reduced. They're not part of the closing down sale. And they will not be part. These will not be getting reduced at any point. The store is going next month. By the end of July, the online store will be gone completely. These will not be getting reduced. Even the day before the store closes, they will not get reduced. So hammerschatstore.com, and you can go get yourself a pair of sexy Oddballs Bubbles boxers. Mrs. Gio's in for a treat tomorrow, isn't she? Anyway, right, Marty Hutchinson. We've been linked to him. Been linked to quite a few England under 21 players. When we were first linked to him, I thought, no, right-sided player, that's Jared Bowen's position. I appreciate I contradict myself a little bit with Harvey Elliot, but I've explained. I think Harvey Elliot can play different positions and different roles. I never really considered that with Hutchinson until watching him for England. He's been playing on the left because Elliot's been on the right. So at the start of the group stage, they were playing sort of two false nines with Rowan McAtee, who has been crap, by the way. McAtee's had a really stinky tournament. He did well against whoever he beat in the quarterfinals. Who the hell did I watch England beat in the quarterfinals? I can't remember now. It's gone. It's out of my head. No, it was Spain. It was Spain in the quarterfinals. It was the Netherlands last night. Forgive me. You beat the Netherlands in the semi-final. When you beat Spain in the quarterfinal, McAtee was good in that game. But the group stage against Spain last night, he was just not very good. But I appreciate he's been played out of position. But Hutchinson's been played on the left. And for maybe half an hour, well, for the entire 80 minutes before he went off, but that first half hour in particular, I thought he was battering Spain. I thought he was a real danger, going down the outside and cutting it back. He wasn't very good cutting in on his right foot. But it did make me think, is that the plan here? Would he work out as a left-sided player? I naively hadn't really considered it before because I've always seen him as a right-sided player, cutting in on his left foot. But actually, what he has demonstrated at this tournament is he's more than capable of playing on the left and going down the outside and getting the crosses in. He hasn't quite changed my mind, but he's made me debate it. Tyler Morton, been linked to him, still unsold. I thought he looked all right at Hull on loan. He's gone back to Liverpool, obviously. Tournament-wise, he's only played one game. He was very good in it against Spain, but he got booked, so he couldn't play last night. So I doubt he'll start on the final. I'd imagine he'll stick with Scott and Anderson. I think he should stick with Scott and Anderson. But Morton's played his part. He's had a bit of a role, even coming off the bench. He's had a bit of a role in this tournament. And it's one of those players, I think, if it got to the latter part of the transfer window, we're now into August, and it's a bit of a, right, we can't get our top 2-3 targets, let's go get Tyler Morton. I think I'd be okay with it. But I feel like he might be one of these players that's one of the best in the Championship but not quite good enough for the Premier League. I think he might fit in that category. He's a punt. Well, I guess you could argue that every player is, bar Harvey Elliot. He's not a punt. But you could argue that every transfer is a gamble. Of course it is. But I think the risk with Morton would be greater than it would be with, say, Hutchinson, for example. Now, someone we've not been linked to. But I mentioned in a couple of other videos. I'm going to mention him again to continue the England theme. Charlie Cresswell. I think we need a centre-back. I've liked him before, mentioned him before. This tournament, he's just been bloody good. Every game, he's been good. Kwanzaa's been good. Had a ropey touch last night at one point against the Netherlands. You can forgive that. One mistake in an entire tournament. So what? His rumoured transfer fee, because Cesc Fabregas is looking at him to get him out of Toulouse. His rumoured transfer fee is just over 10 million. For a homegrown centre-back, that's what we're dealing with here. That's cheap. That is very cheap. Well, his counterpart, right? So Charlie Cresswell, rumoured to be 11, 12 million. Kwanzaa, 30 million. Now, I'm not saying Cresswell's better than Kwanzaa, but they're both first-choice centre-backs for England under 21s, thanks to Branthwaite being injured. But my point remains, he's someone I'd like to see at West Ham. Again, would he come in and be knocked to Debo at the team? Perhaps not. But we would be better for it having him in the squad. It's another long-term homegrown player that we'd be able to have. I think there's an opportunity to pick up a really good centre-back this summer there. Now, in terms of Onyedika, now we've mentioned him in the other video. The Belgian press are not letting this one go. They're still going on about it. They're still saying that it's us and Everton that are after him and that we are the front runners. Pole position. Whether that pun was intentional or not, but I rated it. To say that we're in pole position for Onyedika, fantastic journalism. That's a journalism I appreciate. Well done, sir. Can't remember his name. Belgian journalist. I like it. Rate that. 9 out of 10 from Gio. Well done. Anyway, we're in pole position to sign Onyedika ahead of Everton. But like I said, there's other Belgian journalists stating that we've already agreed personal terms with him, that he wants to come to West Ham. It's just up to the two clubs to negotiate something. Now, here's where it gets interesting. There's a bit of mental gymnastics going on here, so work with me. Stick with me, please. Please don't go anywhere. Stick with me. Ex-West Ham employee did an update, said, nope. Spoke to a top source. We're not interested. We haven't agreed anything with Onyedika. I can't remember exactly what it said, but the wording was quite loose. What it didn't say was we're not interested in him. It said that we hadn't agreed anything, we hadn't agreed a deal or anything. But the journalist didn't claim that we had agreed a deal with Club Brugge. He's actually claiming we're working on it. So what Mr. Top Source, possibly David Sullivan, is claiming actually perhaps doesn't necessarily deny the reports coming out of Belgium. But here's where it gets more interesting. So we got linked again to Musa. AC Milan midfielder. Been linked to him quite a lot. You know who he is. The Italians are still saying we want him for 20 odd million. And by the sounds of it, we need to buy him so that they can then go and sign Ardon Yashiri, the other Club Brugge midfielder. There's a bit of a love affair, a little triangle going on here. Ex-West Ham employee did an update. Top sources denied that as well, saying, I mean, this was concerning. I didn't even know he was on our list or something. I mean, that's a bit, whoa, what? The chairman doesn't know who's on the short list. The long short list, remember that? The long short list? If anyone had missed it, a month ago, there was a report that West Ham had a long short list. Anyway, maybe we've got a hot, cold drink or something. I don't know. But anyway. So the top source, possibly Sullivan, said, I didn't know he was on our list. But here's the interesting bit. He said, ignore 90% of what you read. First of all, I agree. I would actually increase that number to 99%. But he hasn't said, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but basically how I read that was that some of the rumours that's going around at the minute are true. Because he didn't say, ignore everything, everything's false and made up. He basically said 10% of it's true. Now, like I said, I'm not going to hold him to the 10%. How I took it as that there's a couple of transfer rumours doing the rounds that are true. Got me thinking. By the way, I appreciate if you're sat here going, go on then. Who do you think he's referring to? I'm not really sure. To be honest with you, if I had to guess that we were going to sign someone today, as in, in a week or two's time that we're being linked to today, who is it? I think it would be Onyedika, because, like I said, I think when the sources come from the other side of it, sometimes it just has a little bit more respect, truth. I don't know. I tend to believe it a little bit more when it comes from the other side. Unless it's the French. I don't believe anything they say. They link us to everyone and anyone. I don't believe the French, and the Italians are going that way this year as well. But the Belgians do have an issue with them, especially they're going to come out with, penis puns like they did with Onyedika. I'm liking that. Anyway, that's it for me. But before you go, just a reminder, boxers, but also Kevin Nolan shirt. Match worn by Kevin Nolan. Do you want it? Would you like this shirt? Would you like it? Someone's getting it. Do you want it? Do you want it? Kevin Nolan wore it against Peterborough. We beat him 2-0. In the good old days of Championship where football was fun and we used to win games. Kevin Nolan wore it. Swapped it with Lee Tomlin. Lee Tomlin flogged it. It's in our hands now. And we're doing a raffle. But it's not just this. There's also a signed Jared Bowen shirt, a signed Martin Oba armband, and a signed Paul Di Canio armband. 4 prizes. Tickets are £5. You buy 2, you get a third one free. Links in description below. It ends on Wednesday, so you've got less than a week to get your tickets in now. And 4 of you, possibly watching this, will win some nice prizes. And if the raffle goes well, we'll do another raffle at the end of July. Simple. Links in description below. Remember, Tartan Geo. Links in description. Basically, go to the comments section, look at the pinned comment, all the links you need. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you. Please do drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it by clicking thumbs up button, subscribing to Hammer's Chat. I'll catch you tomorrow where I'll be wearing my pants.